Hey, how's it going, guys? Today I'm checking out the Telcast P20 HD, available for under $150 on Amazon. So there's not much around the box here, except on top it does mention that it has a 6,000 milliamp hour battery along with the model number. Inside of the box is the tablet itself here. Then to the side, underneath that should be a user guide. What's this useful reminder? And what else do we have here? Warranty rules. There's also a SIM pin, the USB wall outlet, and a USB Type-C cable. The back has this nice metal premium finish to it. I have a screen protector that is pre-installed on it. I'm going to keep it on there just so it doesn't get dirty. And there is a 5 megapixel rear facing camera, but
until you hear a beep to enable accessibility
that's
mode.
unusual. I guess it's turned on. So, but anyways, I was going to say it's protruding, and I don't like that because when you put it down on the surface or on a flat surface or table, and sometimes, or if you drop it, it might end up getting damaged. So that's my only concern with it. But anyways, on the bottom we've got two speaker grills. We'll see if they emit from both sides. On the left side here is the volume controls, power button, and there should be a reset button. It is. Oh, and USB Type-C all the way down here. I should probably try to zoom in on that. On top is a 3.5mm headphone jack, and this is the tray for the micro SD card and SIM tray. I just took it out just to save time. And nothing else on the side here. On the front there is a screen protector that comes pre-installed when you take this out. So it's a 1920 by 1200 display, and it looks nice. It's not enough to use outside in sunlight. It's an IPS screen, so you won't have problems with viewing angles. Out of the box, there's about 56 gigs of internal storage that's available, and that's quite a bit. Actually, I don't recall seeing a tablet around this price range having about this much storage. Usually they say it's the 32 gigs of internal storage, but this one's 64. And plus there is 1 more gig of RAM. 4 gigs of RAM is going to be much better than 3. That's definitely a step up right there. And there's not too much bloatware either. I want to say there's almost no bloatware. And because of that, this makes me think that this is running almost pretty much stock Android. Even though it's not stock Android, it kind of feels like it because of the lack of bloatware. And yes, there is a phone app there because it does support 4G SIMs. If you're wondering why I have images of these and not showing you the actual apps, well, it's because I went ahead and downloaded some extra apps, and I wanted to take care of that in the background while my camera was charging. And I went ahead and took some pictures outside, so the pictures are not that great. The camera is not good overall, I want to say, for the rear camera. I haven't really tried out the front one here, but it is 2 megapixels, so it's going to be less in the rear. There isn't too much light outside, so obviously this isn't going to do too well in low light. I guess it's acceptable for a call, a Skype call or video call. So you can watch videos at 60 FPS, 1080p. I wanted to just compare the two side by side just so you can see if there's any lag or stutter. But yeah, this can play videos at 1080p, 60 FPS, and the sound does emit from both sides, like the bottom, like 2 speakers. Like if there's one side that's only supposed to emit, the left side will only emit, and if it's supposed to be on the right side, then the right side speaker will emit. So these are 2 separate speakers, and that's nice to see. I feel like that's becoming the standard for today's like budget tablets that are around this price. But what's not is having 4 gigs of RAM. This is actually the first tablet I've seen at this price that has 4 gigabytes of RAM. And an authentic piece of 4 gigs of RAM, because some other ones you see on Amazon, they say that they have the same specs, but it's really not the same. I've tested out one of them. I think I'll have a card up here somewhere if you want to check it out. And of course, with 4 gigs of RAM, you won't notice as much lag when using a split screen here. The split screen function should be available in all Android 10 devices, and even some older tablets too. On here we can see some of the other specs on here. I have the Antutu Benchmark downloaded. I have to download the APK version, so this might be an older version or something. So I'm not really going to worry too much about testing or running some tests on here. But I ran some on the Geekbench score here, and the Geekbench score came out pretty low. Actually, I think it was a little lower than what I was expecting too. So single core was below half of what the Galaxy A50 is. And then the multi-core score was a little higher. So I mean, it does have 8 cores, so we'll see how it does well with games. The Antutu Benchmark goes more in depth with what kind of CPU it is. It is a Unisoc SC9863A. Again, I don't recall seeing Unisoc before this year, but it seems like a lot of tablets are starting to have this Unisoc processor and this GPU, which is the PowerVR Rogue. First game we're checking out here is Fruit Ninja. And so far it's looking works pretty fine. Should have gotten that one. Oh, there was just a slight delay right there when I cut the fruits. But it definitely seems playable overall. Next game here is Battle Prime. I think the graphics are set to low here. Oh, there's a sniper. Well, this definitely looks smoother than what I've seen in some other tablets. Well, not this game specifically, but when I play some FPS games, that's how it feels. Oh. These guys suck. But I shouldn't be talking. Well, anyways, yeah, this is definitely playable still. Overall, games seem pretty decent to play on here. Not high-end games, but maybe more so like low to mid-tier ones that aren't really graphic intensive. I mean, unless if you define this as graphic intensive, then I guess this is more... Because this is actually, I want to say, playable. Even though there's some frame rate drops you see here and there, it's certainly playable. Because it doesn't really affect your gameplay performance too much or anything. Okay. You notice that like freeze right there? That might affect your gameplay performance if you see that more often than not. But I haven't played this game for too long. This is called like Legend something. I think Shadow Legends. But again, games are pretty, overall, I want to say playable. Overall, this tablet is great. Probably one of the best tablets of 2020 so far. I mean, it's got a 1920 by 1200 display, 60 Hz refresh rate, a 6000 milliamp hour battery. But again, I haven't really tested out the battery, so we have to see how it is. 4 gigs of RAM, which is I want to say a ton, but I know it's not a ton. But for this price point, it's probably the best you can get, or you're going to get, for the time being at least. And of course, browsing the web was alright. Again, really no major problems, so it seems pretty solid all around. I'll have a link down below as to where you can get this. And leave a like if you found this video helpful, and subscribe if you want to see more.